Thank you for clicking on the link to hear this short presentation on performance management. My name is Alicia Martindale, and I'm an employee in the Center for Employee and Organizational Development for the Maricopa Community College District. I have been an employee of the district for over 18 years, and I'm fortunate to be able to talk to you today about our need for an effective performance management system. I think most of us would agree that when you hear mention of performance management in any context, you might see eye rolls, hear sign, or negative comments. With changes happening such as the decrease in funding, changes in leadership, culture, and job functions, we can't afford to just hope for the best. We must all take action, and that begins with changing our mindset, our conversation, and our actions regarding performance management. Performance management is critical to any organization's success, yet it's something many of us fail to do well. The core of the problem is often the dreaded performance review itself. The annual review between manager and employee has evolved into a chore that managers must get done and filed away, rather than a process that ultimately contributes to the goal of evaluating and improving performance. In fact, an analysis of 607 studies of performance evaluations was conducted by psychologists Kluger and Denisi, and they found that at least 30% of performance reviews decrease employee performance. Whether someone is giving or receiving an annual performance appraisal, there always seems to be something throwing a wrench in the effectiveness of the practice. This research and more shows us that in many organizations, employee performance management is broken. If we care about the future of our employees in Maricopa, which will directly affect the future of the students we serve, we must care about our performance management system because it is critical to our success as employees and as an organization. Throughout this presentation, I will provide some research and answers to what's in it for you and why you should care about performance management. The short answer to those questions is an effective performance management system equals disengaged employees, and disengaged employees create problems including but are not limited to poor employee performance, increased employee turnover, high cost for the organization, and decreased customer satisfaction. Who are our customers? Our customers are our students and our employees. If we want jobs, we need students, and we need engaged and valued employees if we want satisfied and happy students. I don't mean to oversimplify it, but it doesn't need to be complicated either. So let's first take a look at some research on employee engagement from the Gallup organization and what that research tells us. The percentage of U.S. workers in 2015 who Gallup considered engaged in their jobs averaged 32%. Not shown on the graph is the majority, 50.8% of employees were not engaged, while another 17.2% were actively disengaged. The 2015 averages are similar with the 2014 averages and reflect little improvement in employee engagement over the past year. Gallup categorizes workers as engaged based on their ratings of key workplace elements, such as having an opportunity to do what they do best each day, having someone at work who encourages their development and believing their opinions count at work. These elements predict important organizational performance outcomes. Engaged employees are involved in and enthusiastic about and committed to their work. Yet most U.S. workers continue to fall into the not engaged category. These employees are not hostile or disruptive. They show up and they kill time, doing the minimum required with little extra effort to go out of their way for customers. They're less vigilant, more likely to miss work, and change jobs when new opportunities arise. They are thinking about lunch or their next break. Not engaged employees are either checked out or attempting to get their job done with little or no management support. If this is what approximately 70% or 7,000 of our 10,000 employees are like, then we have no time to lose when it comes to changing the way we look at and execute performance management in Maricopa. In addition to Gallup, Talent Management Magazine shows us research that employee engagement is directly related to individual performance. In fact, there is a 52% increase in individual performance when an employee is engaged. So how do we engage our employees? One important way is ensuring we have an effective performance management system. So here's where I answer what's in it for you. Performance management should not be a negative experience. It is meant to be a very positive and enriching experience for the employee and manager. Not only does an effective performance management system create a more engaged employee, but it can also create a more fulfilling job experience overall. If it is done well, it will open up communication with your manager with regular performance conversations and opportunities to talk about professional growth and goal setting. This sets the stage to create an environment where open and honest feedback can happen, as well as recognition for a job well done. In this type of environment, an employee is directly involved with their performance plan. It can and should be a very collaborative process. Does this sound appealing to you? Do you want a more fulfilling job experience, more meaningful communication with your manager, opportunities to talk about your future in a positive environment to give and receive honest feedback? Our leadership recognizes how critical this is to our future as an organization and has created a project team that is highly dedicated and working hard to improve our performance management system. And we're not the only public sector employees who are taking action. In an article titled Performance Management: Shifting Organizational Culture by Marnie Green, performance management is becoming the high priority for public sector entities nationwide. A Time magazine article by Amanda Ripley stated, "There is no perfect way of measuring performance, but that's not an excuse to do nothing." And we here in Maricopa, we can't afford to do nothing. Employee performance management has been shown to be the primary driver of organizational effectiveness. Yet according to a Towers-Watson survey, only 30% of workers polled say their organization's performance management program does what it's supposed to do, which is to improve employee performance. What's more, only 19% say their employer's program helps poorly performing workers improve. The infographic on this slide shows us that organizations with an effective performance management system are 14 times more likely to have high leadership strength, 1.8 times more likely to be top financial performers, and will show a 1 to 20% increase in customer retention, revenue, and employee engagement. Again, we can't afford to do nothing, and we must do something. It can't just be our leadership who cares about this. We need to have an all-for-one, one-for-all mentality. If each individual employee in Maricopa took ownership in their performance management, we would see dramatic success individually and collectively as an organization. All of the research presented proves that performance management is the true litmus test for survival in the marketplace. High-performing employees contribute superior performance, giving the organizations they work for a competitive advantage, and differentiates them from merely good ones. Are we okay with being good, or do we want to be great? Regardless of what improvements are made to our current performance management system, if we don't change our mindset and our conversation, then ultimately nothing will change. Let's accept the challenge to start a new conversation about performance management. Why? Because it's your life, your career, and your future. I look forward in the next few months to sharing more information on how we can make performance management more meaningful and effective here in Maricopa. A few of the topics you can look forward to are elements of an effective performance management system, employee engagement, performance management best practices, and how to hold regular performance management conversations. Please take a moment and choose to make a difference in the Maricopa performance management process by taking this 2-minute survey. The data received will help us as we move forward to building a better tomorrow by creating a more effective performance management system. Thank you and have a great day.